Hi, and welcome to your Lifestyle Learning. I'm Peter Kenyon and I'm a weight loss educator, which means I teach people to eat well, lose weight, feel great, and get paid for it. I give people one more option in their life. Do you want to take control? Do you hate dieting? Is learning a new healthy lifestyle difficult? Are you confused by all the information that you hear? Well, welcome to Peter Kenyon's Weight Loss Workshops, where you learn to make your lifestyle changes 1 week at a time. This week is week 3, and we're looking at the unrestricted vegetable category of the diet plan. We're going to learn how to stoke up your metabolism and how should you exercise when dieting. But before we go on, let's review last week's diet plan task and see how you went. Last week you were to focus on your restricted vegetable category of the diet plan. You were to learn which vegetables were restricted, to measure out their serve sizes. Now the goal was not to exceed your restricted vegetable serve requirements while also maintaining your protein requirements. This is progressive learning. You'll build upon what you learned and put into action the previous week. How'd you go? Let's move on to part 1. Today we're looking at your unrestricted vegetable food group of the diet plan. So grab your diet plan, have it open in front of you. It comes with the 5-week manual. Look at it as we go through it so you can learn the vegetables as we go through it. We're going to read through this list because the beauty about the unrestricted vegetable list is no matter whether you're following the 1200, 1500 or 1800 calorie diet plan, you can eat as much of these as you like. They're great for bolstering up your meals on dinner and lunch. So what's the first thing we're going to do? The first thing we're going to do is go read through this list to familiarize you with the food that is on this list. What I would like you to do is if you come across a food you don't like, cross it out. Don't throw out the whole list. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Cross it out and just concentrate on the foods you do like. So going through this list, there is alfalfa sprouts, asparagus, bamboo shoots, beans, bean shoots, beetroot, Brussels sprouts, I'm putting a line through that, cabbage, carrot, cauliflower, celery, champignons, chives, choco, cucumber, eggplant, endive, garlic, lettuce, mushroom, onions, parsley, radishes, peppers, snow peas, silver beet, spinach, swedes, tomato, turnip, and zucchini. So there's quite a bit there, but how do you use them? Well, I'm going to suggest that what you do is get used to making salads. So creating a 4-vegetable salad is, if you've never made salads before, this is how you make a salad, a 4-vegetable salad. First thing you do is choose any 4 vegetables from the list. Just make one of them a leafy vegetable. Now, this is what I like to do. This is my favorite salad, nice and simple. I choose a carrot, I choose onions, and I choose tomato. I grate the carrots, I dice the onions, and I cut up the tomato, and I slice up some lettuce or pull lettuce leaves apart, and I put it in the bowl. So that's my choosing any 4 vegetables from the list, and I cut, slice, and dice for their presentation. Then I choose 1 or 2 serves of proteins that I can add to my salad. Now you go back to your protein list from week 1, and you choose 1 or 2. Now, think about it. You could have cheese. You can grate cheese, 1 or 2 serves of cheese. You could do boiled eggs, 1 or 2 boiled eggs to add to your salad. You can buy some ham or something like that, some deli ham, and slice it up and add to your salad. You can add chicken to your salad, right? So just 1 or 2 serves of protein to add to that meal. And then you use lemon juice, vinegar, or other low kilojoule dressings. See, I didn't say mayo. So use lemon juice, vinegar, or other low kilojoule dressing. And that's how you create a 4-vegetable salad. So the thing to do this week for this week's task on the diet plan is to focus on your non-restricted vegetable list, learn which vegetables you can have plenty of, try using them to make a 4-vegetable salad for lunch. And the goal is to learn how to use your non-restricted vegetables to bolster up your meals, such as your meat and 3 veg for dinner. Build this knowledge upon your restricted vegetables from last week and your protein knowledge from week 1. See, progressive learning. Moving on to part 2. Part 2 is how to stoke up your metabolism. Well, for starters, before we even go any further, what is metabolism? Metabolism is the rate at which your body uses energy. Our body is using energy all the time, even if we're just resting. This is known as our basal metabolic rate when we're sitting down there and we're resting. So sitting is exercise. No, sitting is not exercise. However, exercise does raise your metabolic rate. What else raises your metabolic rate? What gets your motor revving? Well, building muscle. Why? Because muscle cells use 3 times more calories than fat cells. The more muscle you have, the higher your metabolic rate, or especially your basal metabolic rate. What else can you do? Well, you can step up your aerobics. Now, aerobics is walking, jogging, swimming, cycling, anything that gets the heart rate raised. Now, it may not build muscle, but it revs up your metabolism. High intensity exercise keeps your basal metabolic rate raised for some hours after the exercise. That means if you exercise in the morning, your metabolic rate is raised for a couple of hours while it slowly comes back down. Now, the current trend is to use HIIT, or high intensity interval training, to help burn calories and keep your metabolic rate up. That's because high intensity interval training raises your heart rate the most. It raises, recovers, and it burns more calories. The next thing you can do, and we talked about this last week, was fuel up with water. Now, your body needs water to process calories. If you are even mildly dehydrated, your metabolism may slow down. In one study, adults who drank 8 or more glasses of water a day burned more calories than those who just drank 4 glasses of water a day. What else can you do? Consider green tea. Now, drinking green tea or oolong tea offers the combined benefits of caffeine and catechins. Now, these are substances that are shown to rev up the metabolism for a couple of hours. Combine them with exercise, look what's happening to your body. What else can you do? Well, avoid crash diets. Now, crash or fad diets generally involve the loss of muscle due to restricted protein intake. Loss of muscle leads to reduced metabolic rate, and it is the muscle that uses the most calories even at rest. This is why preserving muscle with exercise and adequate protein while reducing weight is important, very important. Other thing you can do is think about using an energy drink. Well, not just any energy drink, because taurine is an amino acid that boosts metabolism, and taurine is found in some energy drinks. But always be wary of this, because energy drinks do contain calories that you may not need. Let's dispel some myths about the metabolism. Aging slows your metabolic rate. Not true, because people just tend to exercise less and less vigorously as they age. This leads to muscle loss and a reduction in the metabolic rate. Myth number 2, you are stuck with the metabolism you have. Not true. Now, lifestyle plays a large part in the calories you burn each day. Next time you're in public, take notice of the people around you. You may see a large person sitting, drinking coffee, being very still. At the next table, a lean person may be telling a story, waving his hands frantically. Lean people fidget more. Metabolic myth number 3, dieting slows my metabolism. Not true. Now, it is true that your metabolism may slow as you reduce your calorie intake, but this is easily offset by introducing or increasing exercise to preserve muscle and maintain your basal metabolic rate. So just to recap so far, what gets your motor going? Well, water, exercise, protein foods and smart snacking, and some energy drinks and supplements. Now that subject that nobody wants to talk about, part 3, we're looking at exercise and your weight loss. Why should you exercise? Well, because to lose weight, there are only 2 things you can do. You can either decrease calories in by manipulating your diet, or you can increase calories going out by doing more and using more calories. We covered this one in week 1 when we looked at meal replacement drinks, prepared and packaged meals, diet plans, and serve and kilojoule calorie counting. How do you increase calories going out? By doing more activity and increasing exercise. Now, activity is not exercise. These are 2 different things. Activity is doing the simpler things harder as you move about through the world. Do you ride the escalator or do you take the stairs? Well, taking the stairs burns more kilojoules. Do you use a dishwasher or do you do the washing up by hand? Guess what? Washing up by hand, you burn more kilojoules. Do you mow your lawn or do you pay somebody to mow the lawn? Well, you can increase your activity by sacking your mower man and doing your own mowing. And pushing that monstrosity around the yard burns more kilojoules. You can actually burn more kilojoules still by taking the catcher off, pushing the mower around to cut the grass, and then raking the grass. It's all about doing more activity. Now, you do more activity before you introduce exercise into your lifestyle. Exercise is a specific set of movements designed to improve your health, increase fitness, correct imbalances that are brought in by every day. That's a tightness on one side and you think, oh God, I'm a bit sore there. Well, exercise helps to correct imbalances. It adds muscle to help to preserve metabolic rate, and it makes your heart rate increase to improve your fitness and your health. How often should you exercise? Well, exercise 30 minutes 3 times a week to maintain your present level of health. Doing less than 30 minutes 3 times a week and your level of health is decreasing. Exercise 30 minutes every day to improve your health and introduce fitness. And exercise 30 to 60 minutes every day to improve fitness. How should you exercise for weight loss? Well, exercise with 2 goals in mind. First goal, to burn kilojoules. The second goal, to preserve or improve muscle. Nothing burns kilojoules like using the big muscles of the body. And the big muscles of the body, we're talking about the muscles of the legs and the muscles of the glutes. These are the 2 muscles groups that are being used when you walk or jog. But you must also preserve the muscles of the upper body. So this is where swimming is good, because you kick in the swimming, you kick to preserve the muscles of the legs using your glutes, and you use the muscles of the upper body to swim. But you must preserve the muscles of the upper body. How do you preserve the muscles of the upper body? Well, you could do one of 2 things. You could either join a gym or you could buy home equipment and work out at home, but these both cost money and sometimes lots of it. How do you preserve muscle and save money? By using resistance cords and resistance bands. Now, that's these things that you see these people using here. They cost about $20 each. You get them anywhere from any sports shop, and you can work out in a group where you can indoors, you can put it around a window frame if it's strong enough, and you can just all work out in a small group. Or you don't even have to be able to stand. If you're in a wheelchair or not able to stand properly, you can sit in a chair and have somebody hold the resistance cord for you. They hold it for you while you do the exercises. Or if in a park, you can work exercise with a group of friends by putting it around a pole. In this case, it's a basketball pole, and you do your exercises with a group. What exercises do you do? Well, if you go to my YouTube channel, Peter Kenyon YouTube channel, you will find Extra Miles Life Fit exercise program. These are the resistance cord exercises for exercising the muscles of the upper body. You do bicep curls, you do rowing, you do chest flies, you do tricep push downs, and you do sideways core stability exercises. It's just 12 minutes, 1, 2, or 3 times a week. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exercises that you do. You do them for a count of 12. You do 12 bicep curls, you do 12 rowing, you do 12 chest flies, you do 12 tricep push downs, and you hold this for a count of 12, and you do 3 sets. This is the Life Fit exercise program that I've developed. It's a 12-minute stretch routine, 15-minute resistance cord routine, and you'll find these on my YouTube channel, Peter Kenyon YouTube. So how do you preserve your body? By doing this, and I would always recommend some aerobic exercise at the end, even if it's just a 5-minute walk, and there's your 30 minutes every day. So why should you exercise? You exercise to promote fat loss. You exercise to preserve muscle. You exercise to increase basal metabolic rate, and you exercise to feel good. This week's lifestyle task is to introduce walking into your lifestyle. So that means that 3 times this week, do a 10-minute walk. If you get used to that, do 3 20-minute walks. Or if you're familiar with that, do 3 30-minute walks. What I'd like you to do is start a consistency chain. which is walking 3 days in a row. That, that creates one consistency chain, 3 days in a row. So for 3 days in a row, do a 3 10-minute walk if you've never walked before. And then do that until you're feeling fit and healthy and confident, and then do 3 20-minute walks. Then do 3 30-minute walks. You're building up slowly. What I'd like you to do is focus on doing it 3 days in a row. That helps to build a habit for those who have trouble building a habit. So 3 days in a row. You go to 3 days in a row, and that is one consistency chain. You can build onto that, make it longer by doing another 3-day block and adding to that 3-day block. So always focus on the 3-day blocks. So that's this week and this week's lifestyle tasks. So it's your diet plan task and a lifestyle task. I would like you to focus on your non-restricted vegetable category, learn which vegetables you can have plenty of, and try using them to make a full vegetable salad. Try doing this for 3 days in a row. Create your diet 3-day block. Build this knowledge upon your restricted vegetable and protein knowledge. So you're adding to your progressive learning. You're adding to your knowledge. And introduce walking into your lifestyle as a 3-day block. Good luck. Now, that's it for this week. But before you go, do you know anyone who would like to lose weight and make some money from helping others to lose weight? I like to teach people to live a healthy lifestyle and then teach them to make some money from their healthy lifestyle. It's a win-win. That's it. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week.